Hey y'all, this is weird. I haven't done this in months. Hi, I'm back. Hello, welcome to my channel, Ghosts and Glitter. I'm Rachel. I've been gone for a while. The end of 2022 was wild and wonderful, and I didn't really have a chance to film or edit or do anything besides life things. We're back on track. I'll save life updates for the end of the video. Right now, I'll just jump right in and talk about all the things book-wise and channel-related and reading goals and all that sort of stuff. Starting things off, let's talk about some channel and book goals. So first, setting TBRs. If you've seen any of my other TBR-related videos, you know that I'm really good at setting a huge ambitious TBR and reading next to none of it because I'm a mood reader. We're gonna scale it back this year. I'm still gonna do TBR videos. Some of them might be seasonal TBR videos where I just talk about a handful of the books that I want to get to for the season. But for the most part, I want to set a TBR of roughly 3 books. I don't want to go crazy. I want to set a TBR of 3 books because I read 5 to 10 books in a month-ish, sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on how big the books are and what I'm doing. So 3 books. And I'm going to pick the TBR in a couple of different ways. First off, if we're friends on Goodreads or you've checked out my Goodreads profile, I have a large want to read shelf. It is over 1,200, I believe. And it's a little out of hand. It's gotten out of hand because I know a lot of the books on there I probably added when I was like 13 and first had a Goodreads account, and then like I stopped using it for a while and then started using it again in like 2018 or something like that. So there's books on that want to read shelf that are no longer relevant to me, but I am not going to go through and weed all those out. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use a number generator between 1 and whatever the number of books I have on that want to read shelf. And I'm gonna generate a random number. I'm gonna look up that number. I'm gonna decide if I'm gonna delete it or read it. So I might do that just 1 number a month. I might do multiple a month, but that's how I'm going to pick a few of the books that I read each month. I also am toying with the idea of a TBR jar, and in that jar, either putting fun little reading prompts to give myself something to think about, or put a book, or just make that jar books that I physically own off of my shelf. I'm leaning towards that, books that I own like physically off of my shelf. So I want to read at least 1 book off of my shelf each month. Yes, I know that is kind of a really low goal to have for reading books off of your shelf, but I'm really bad at buying books and then going straight to the library to read things. So what we're gonna do is Rachel's going to read at least 1 book a month off of her shelf. To illustrate how bad this is, I think it was the year 2021. The grand total of books that I read that I actually owned was 3. Now y'all know one of my deepest, darkest secrets. That's my TBR goals, plans for this year. Now I'm gonna go into some kind of broad reading goals that I have for this year. So number-wise, I do enjoy setting a number reading goal. So this year I would like to read 150 books. Last year I read 118. My goal was 125 and I read 118. And I'm very happy with that number, but I want to read more. And I think I can get it up to 150. I definitely think I can get to 125 this year. So that's probably my more realistic goal, but my stretch goal is 150 and I'm gonna hit it this time. The next reading goal I have is to diversify the genres that I read. Now, I do love just about every single genre I've dipped my toe into. I love, obviously horror, but I love fantasy and historical fiction. I love all of this stuff, but I don't read all of this stuff because I find the genre I like, which for the most part is horror, and then I get super excited about it, and even though I will check out some romance books and some fantasy books and all of this other stuff that I genuinely really love to read, I don't read it because then I see a random horror book and I go, nope, that one. So I am committing myself to diversifying the genres that I read, particularly getting back into fantasy and historical fiction, which I know I said last year that I was going to do more of, and then I didn't really do it. So it's going to happen this year. Some authors that I want to read more of. I've already read a book by all of these authors, so it's more just, I like this author, I want to read more of their backlist. So authors that fall into that category that I want to read more of. Karen Slaughter, I really enjoy reading her books. I started reading the Will Trent books years ago, loved them, realized that there was a whole other series of books that took place before the Will Trent books, so I have paused Will Trent. I am now reading the Grant County books, and I want to read more of them. So Karen Slaughter is one of the authors I want to read more of. Sarah Waters, who wrote Fingersmith, that I read last year and fell in love with. I want to read more of her stuff. Stephen Graham Jones, I haven't come close to reading his entire backlist. So yeah, there's a bunch of like more random stuff out there. I think the most popular book of his that I haven't read yet is Mapping the Interior. But yeah, I want to read more Stephen Graham Jones all the time. Stephen King, I am reading Stephen King's books in in the order that he wrote them. So I want to read more Stephen King for obvious reasons. Ruta Sepetys is another author I want to read more of. I have read 2 of her 5 books, and I need to read more. And then Anya Allborn. I've read a couple of her books and really enjoy how easy they are to digest and how fun they are to read. So I definitely want to read more of hers because she has a really sturdy backlist, and it's all of her stuff seems like fairly different from the other. So yeah, I want to read more of her. I want to read more nonfiction. I really enjoy nonfiction. Last year I read more true crime than I ever had before, and it was fun, but it was a lot. So I'm gonna dial it back there. But I do want to read more nonfiction, particularly off of my shelf. I have a lot of really cool books about nature and about food. That's about it. That's my nonfiction that I own, is nature and food. But I want to read more, particularly off of my shelf. I want to read an extreme horror book. I've never read extreme horror. There's not one in mind that I have particularly in mind. It's more like something I just want to read to decide if I want to read more of it, or at least to say that I've done it. Some series that I need to either finish or continue. Most likely just continue, but anyway. The biggest one, not in size, but in importance, the biggest series I need to finish is The Poppy War. I have read The Poppy War, I have read The Dragon Republic, and I have not read The Burning God because I'm scared. I owe it to myself to finish The Poppy War. Also, I would love to continue, if not finish, Berserk. It's a manga that is kind of grim, dark, and very intense. And for similar reasons as to me not finishing The Poppy War, I am scared. I've finished a huge portion of Berserk, and then I was like, I need a break. Rachel needs a break. I've had a long break now of a year. Yeah, I need to finish Berserk. My husband really wants me to finish Berserk, so if not for myself, then for him, I should finish it. And then these other 3 are more just something I want to continue, not so much finish because they're expansive. First up is The Dresden Files, Jim Butcher's The Dresden Files. I've only read the first book and I really enjoyed it. This is an urban fantasy following a wizard solving fantastical crime, pretty much. It's so fun. It's another one of these easy, digestible, fantastical reads. I really enjoyed the first one, and yeah, I want to keep going. I just haven't. Fablehaven by Brandon Mull. I read the first book. This is a middle grade fantasy series. Loved it. Want to read more. Have not. And then the Wayward Children series by Shauna McGuire. I have read 2 of those. So, yay. And then I have some series that I want to start. I don't know if anyone puts series that they want to start in a goals video. Usually it's finish things before you start new things, but we don't work that way here. We get excited and distracted. I want to start the Historic Material series by Philip Pullman. Classic childhood series that I never read. I also want to read, and this is really random, I don't even know that much about this. I think it's futuristic and sci-fi fantasy somehow. I want to read The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I feel like she's more well known now for writing The Priory of the Orange Tree, but that is really large. So I want to start with some previous books of hers. So I would like to read The Bone Season, which is a whole series, whatever. And then finally, I want to start the Wheel of Time series. I can't tell you why, because I don't know. I don't know why I want to start a 14 book plus series where all the books are over 600 pages or so. But it's calling to me. I'm intrigued. We'll see what happens, but I am interested in reading The Wheel of Time. So, and finally, I just want to touch on a couple of videos that I want to do, like things I want to do on the channel in general, I guess. So yeah, some videos that I want to do. First is a video that will definitely happen because it has to. I, at some point this year, probably in the middle of the year, will be doing a huge book haul video, because between when last I did a book haul and now, which has been a lot of time, I have accumulated a lot of books because I go to thrift stores. I go to thrift stores where the books are only 25 cents for a paperback or $1. Or my favorite used bookstore where I have credit and everything's half off. I have a lot of books that I have gathered, and I don't want to do a book haul right now when these books that I'm going to haul are in 3 different states right now. So I can't do it. I can't do it right now. But when they're all in one singular state, we'll have a huge book haul. So look out for that, probably in August, hopefully sooner. Another video that I want to do is reading like blank booktuber. I want to do an actual dedicated reading like this person, because I think that's fun to pick a booktuber that like you have similar reading taste to, or maybe you don't at all, and just read their favorite books, or maybe read their favorite and least favorite books. I want to do that. It seems fun. So yes, I'm gonna do that. And then I also want to do more book recommendations for critters. I really enjoyed the book recommendations for my favorite trashy animals, the possum and raccoon and skunk. That was really fun, just to share what I know about the natural world and also goofily recommend books that I think possums would enjoy reading. And I want to do that more. I want to incorporate more of my love for being outside and nature and knowledge of those things with my enjoyment for reading. And it's just fun to goofily recommend things because there's no reason not to. So that's it for my reading goals, the direction of the channel, all of that. If you want to hear my life update, stick around, I guess. Okay, now that part's over, we can get comfy. So yeah, since October, a lot of life things have happened. My husband is in the Air Force. He's in training to be a pilot. And in October, we found out what plane he was going to fly, and also like what Air Force base we're going to be moving to. And that was all very exciting, but then they were like, you have to move to Texas to train. And I was just like, well, what am I gonna do while my husband's in Texas? So I moved back in with my parents for a little bit. They have Fern right now. So there's unfortunately no Fern to showcase. I do miss her dearly, but I have been bouncing between states. I've been bouncing between Mississippi and Texas and North Carolina. So right now I'm in Texas. Welcome to our Texan apartment. And yeah, that's part of the reason I haven't filmed, because there's no great way to I don't know, get settled enough in one spot to film, because really every other month I'm in a different state. So that's part of the reason why I just stopped filming altogether. I was just like, this is too chaotic. Also, the holidays were coming up. Also, my wedding occurred, which was super great, beautiful, perfect, everything I could have ever dreamed of. It's really nice not to be planning that anymore, so I have the brain capacity to focus more on the channel. So beautiful, wonderful things happened and are happening that have kept me from filming, and I'm really grateful to be able to say that I haven't been filming because of wonderful things and not because of bad things happening. But we will be moving in the spring to Delaware, which is super exciting. I have never lived north of North Carolina before, so this will be a really fun experience for both of us, and I'm so excited for us to have a home to get settled in for an extended period of time. So yeah, that's the biggest life stuff that's happening. Enjoying Texas while we're here though. And yeah, I know that wasn't a huge crazy life update, but yeah, here we are. I'm really excited to get back to a filming schedule. I'll be filming most of my stuff here. I do plan to be batch filming my stuff here pretty soon, so if you see me wearing yes. If you see me wearing the same shirt in like 5 videos in a row, it's because I'm being responsible and filming a lot of them. So yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it for life here in Texas. And yeah, I think that's it. With that, I'm gonna go. Y'all have a great day, and I will see you all in my next video. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Bye.